I'm Kristen Davin from Loyola University Chicago.
And I'm Rick Donato from the University of Pittsburgh.
We're going to give you a preview of our article today, Classroom Dynamic Assessment and Small Group Work, a Complementary Pairing. This article looks at the integration of classroom dynamic assessment within an elementary Spanish as a foreign language classroom, which is a bit of a departure from the literature that exists right now on dynamic assessment.
The literature now mostly looks at dynamic assessment and researches the process of dynamic assessment in tutorial settings. So a teacher's with a student, the student is perhaps retelling a story based on pictures, the student experiences some difficulty, some problems, the teacher provides some mediation. The mediation is structured from most implicit, like for example, could you say that again? I didn't understand you, to more explicit, like, well, in a story, do we say tomorrow or do we say the next day? And then as the student progresses in the task and becomes better with the task, and as the student grows in the task, so does the assistance. Therefore, it is a growing, changing, dynamic kind of assistance that's provided as the teacher is assessing the student as the student's performing the task.
So we wanted to look at this within the classroom setting. So what we did was we designed 5 assisting prompts that were pre-scripted and arranged from implicit to explicit. They focused on WH question formation, who, what, when, where, why, which was the topic of study. And the teacher within the classroom used these prompts to not only promote student development so that when they made an error, she could give them a prompt and then give them a more explicit prompt if they required it. But she could also simultaneously track their progress by recording how many prompts students needed to be able to form the question correctly. There were some difficulties, however.
Right, so this was an attempt to try dynamic assessment that is looked at in tutorial groups in a whole class setting. And there were some difficulties, as Kristen said, and there are some challenges, and you can probably imagine what they are. Teachers really don't have the luxury of doing tutoring all day. They're teaching 5, 6, 7 classes of 25 to 30 students. If they do tutor, that's rare. Teachers also are very well aware that when the teacher is dealing with one student intensely in the class, often that's a sign for the other students to disengage and become unmotivated. So in a class of, let's say, 20, if in a 15-minute period the teacher can provide, in the large group setting, dynamic assessment to 8 students, that leaves 12 students who potentially are disengaged, not benefiting from the dynamic assessment. So we were really concerned about how can we implement dynamic assessment, which we very much believe in a whole group setting, and maybe you'd like to say a few words about what we did.
Sure. So we decided that after 4 days of classroom dynamic assessment, students would work in groups of 3 to complete a task of writing a list of WH questions for an upcoming classroom visitor. So we recorded their work within these small groups and analyzed the transcripts to answer 3 questions. Can these young novice-level language learners assist each other's performance during small group work after classroom DA? If so, in what ways do they assist each other's performance? And finally, if peer assistance does emerge during small group work, how is it similar or different from the mediation that the teacher offered during classroom dynamic assessment?
Right, in other words, we wanted to know, would the small group work complement the whole class dynamic assessment? And I think the quick answer is yes, it does. And we found that students can stay focused on the objective of the lesson, in this case WH questions. They can offer assistance to each other. They can move through the task. They can provide the needed practice. Meaningful practice with WH questions in the small group. Moreover, the students really don't mediate each other the way the teacher does, but we wouldn't expect that because young children aren't teachers. They haven't been trained as teachers. But they can provide scaffolding, if you will, support to help students engage with the material that they're learning, so staying focused on that material. And in addition, we found that it allows the teacher the opportunity to circulate, to break the class down into small groups, thus providing more dynamic assessment to the small groups as they're working together on tasks. So we encourage you to read this article, watch this video, discuss it with your colleagues, draw your own conclusions, and try whole group dynamic assessment in your class, complemented by small group work. Thank you.
Thank you.